What's up, guys? NBA Talk here with my reaction to the release of Frank Vogel, the head coach of the Indiana Pacers. It has been announced earlier today, or maybe it was announced yesterday. Um, President of the Indiana Pacers, Larry Bird, the legend, has announced that they would not be renewing the contract of Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel was the head coach for many years, 5 seasons or more. Um, been to multiple playoff appearances, semifinals, and two consecutive Eastern Conference Finals appearances, and having a good rivalry with the Miami Heat at the time. A lot of situations happened. David West left. Lance Stevenson left. Last year, Paul George got hurt with a broken leg during the USA basketball scrimmage thing. They didn't make the playoffs last season, but this season they made the playoffs with Paul George elevating his skills, and what could have been if he had played last season. We'll never know. This team has been for many years one of the top defensive teams in the league, and as at one point they were the best. They were battling with the Chicago Bulls for the best defensive team at the time. I feel like the release of Frank Vogel is it. I'm just gonna say they should never let him go. I think they should have kept him. Uh, because I feel like this situation with the Indiana Pacers is going to end up just like the Chicago Bulls are now. Tom Thibodeau, whatever his situation was, maybe he overworked the people or not. They got rid of him and they added that head coach Fred. Is the same situation. I believe that if they just move away from what they were, they're going to end up being even worse. Because you look at the Chicago Bulls, they're more worse than they were years ago with Tom Thibodeau. And I feel like if you got rid of Frank Vogel, it's going to end up the same way, depending on who you hire as a head coach. If the head coach moves farther away from how they were, how they identify themselves as as a defensive team, it's going to mess up their whole mentality. Just like the Chicago Bulls, they moved away from defense and try to move to offense, and for some reason they're even worse on offense than they were with Tom Thibodeau, and their defense is worse too. And I hope they get someone like Mark Jackson. Well, technically not really no because I want him from the New York Knicks. But if so, if they end up getting him, that would be a little much better because Mark Jackson is a defensive player, but he also works kind of in an offensive way as well. I hope they don't go for anyone that moves away from this mentality, like pretty much trying to focus all on offense, because I feel like it's going to end up with the same situation as the Chicago Bulls, where they just fall all over together. They really need more personnel on offense. Monty Ellis seems to not able to adapt well to this system of theirs, because this guy was great in Dallas. This guy was great in Milwaukee. This guy was great in Golden State. But when Monty Ellis came to Indiana, it just like felt like his offense has diminished. Um, pretty much he's not used to being a focused defensive team, or a focused defensive system. George Hill has diminished as well. Um, you don't have David West no more. You don't have Lance Stevenson no more. You got Paul George, who has elevated himself off of the broken leg injury that he suffered last season, coming back even better. You have him, but he seems to be your true only offensive option. Miles Turner, he is a great defensive player and he fits in well. Same thing for Miami. To have them rely upon them on the offensive end is just a question mark, especially for Miles Turner, because he has on occasionally put up the numbers, but we don't know if he could put up the numbers on a regular, just like Paul George. So pretty much you only have Paul George to rely upon consistently on offense, and that's something that Larry Bird is trying to figure out because he wants a different direction. He wants the team to be better on offense just as much on defense. If they're gonna get someone who's also defensive minded as well, just like Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy, maybe. Um, it will probably work. But if you go someone else that is not defensive minded, I'm trying to think of someone. Mike Antoni, for sure. He focused on offense, but his defense sucks. His system with defense sucks. So hopefully, Larry Bird go for someone else that is defensive minded. I wish they hadn't fired Frank Vogel though. I think he could still contribute. It's just that he needs the pieces. That's something that they should be focusing on. But it is what it is. It's his team. He'll do what he wants. So he'll probably first try to go for a head coach now, like go in right now before free agency, and get some shooters or something. That's really needed. So that's it. What do you think about the release of Frank Vogel? Do you think his time was up? Do you think his time was not up, that he deserves to stay? I say that he deserves to stay. They should never let him go. They just need pieces. He just needs pieces. That's all. He needs some offensive pieces to work with. So that's it for me. Later on, a few games to put up. So check you later.